a Playlyst original.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast,
where we review the pilot episodes of TV shows to answer your question, should I watch this?
My name is Mitu.
And my name is BJ.
And this week, we're watching the listener-recommended Danny Phantom, originally on Nickelodeon, and now we're finding it on Paramount+.
So stay tuned to find out what Mitu's superhero name would be if she was half ghost.
Ooh, okay, real challenge. Until then, why don't you tell us what happens in Danny Phantom?
Sure. This series follows Danny Fenton, voiced by David Kaufman, a teenage boy who, after an accident, is turned into half human, half ghost, and takes on the task of saving his town from ghost attacks. And he's aided by his two best friends, Sam and Tucker, voiced by Gray DeLise and Ricky Deshawn Collins. So, Mitu, did you remember this show back during its original run?
No, I vaguely remember the name Danny Phantom. Like, I know this was a popular cartoon. This came out in the early 2000s. In 2004, I would have been watching cartoons at that time. So I don't know how I missed this one. Or maybe I watched it and I just don't remember it. But this was all very fresh to me.
Interesting. This was all nostalgia for me. It clicked when it aired back in 2004. It clicked again now. I remember this exact episode with the lunch lady. I remember them going after his sister thinking she's a ghost. You know, we just got back on that bike and started pedaling.
I feel like that because I've been rewatching Recess with my partner, and every so often there's an episode that we're watching, and by every so often I mean truly like maybe every other episode. I remember the punchline, or I remember the reveal pretty clearly, or even just the conflict, like the entirety of the plot. And you're saying that's how you felt with Danny Phantom?
100%.
That's beautiful, because ultimately this was a good story, and specifically as a coming of age story. It's just a classic, my parents want me to do this. They have all these parental expectations of me. They're ghost hunters. I'm half ghost. How do we meet in the middle here?
Right. They set it up so well. Danny's a freshman in high school, so really trying to figure things out. He does have his two friends, but now he's hiding his ghost powers from everyone at school, his very aloof, unaware parents, and his sister. And he's got real danger. The town is being attacked by ghosts.
And he's very powerful, but he doesn't yet have a handle on his powers, which is also another classic, like, coming of age superhero teen thing, where he has that funny scene where he's talking to his friends about trying to figure out his powers. While he's talking to them, as a light spoiler, he's literally melting into the floor without his knowledge, and they have to pull him back out of it. Or when he has the confrontation with the lunch lady ghost, and he tries to just puff up his chest, and he's like, I command you to go away. Like, and she's like, girl, that's not going to work on me. I'm a ghost.
Yes, that was fun to see again because it reminded me of Spider-Man. Whenever we see him just learning about his powers, we saw a lot of this in the Ms. Marvel series of a teenager given extraordinary abilities, but we actually have to see what's so realistic. They got to learn how to use them. They aren't a Superman just born knowing how to be super powerful.
It's true. It's like if you woke up one day and suddenly you're melting into the floor, it would take a second to literally plant your feet on the ground to understand what is going on.
And the thing that I forgot about, which is really cool, because his parents are ghost hunters and developed all this tech, they end up being his tech support without even realizing it.
There was a part that cracked me up where the dad is frustrated with one of his machines and he goes, I, Jack Fenton, hereby turn my back on ghosts, something like that. And then he literally turned his back and a bunch of ghost things happened behind him that Danny had to take care of. But ultimately, that tech was helpful, even though he thought it wasn't.
Exactly. There also is the fact that the parents built the ghost portal that not only gave Danny his powers, but did subsequently release ghosts into the world. But that's okay.
And they're focused, like you said, on the sister when their son is being weird right in front of them.
But he can't be a ghost. Makes no sense.
That's true, not Danny. And then I loved the coming of age of it all, of just being a high schooler, like you said, having bullies, trying to find your place while dealing with all these bigger things. His friend Sam did away with meat in the cafeteria. His friend Tucker wanted the meat in the cafeteria. They organized dueling protests about it. That was very funny. All while Danny's just trying to capture this ghost. If everyone could take a beat until we get the ghost thing under control.
He's trying to take care of things, and we have truly like classic stereotypical bully.
Yeah.
And I like that he's the football player and acknowledges these are the best days of my life. Don't ruin my lunch.
Jocks, email us at askthepilotpodcast@gmail.com. I don't think we have a very strong jock contingent listening to this, but if you're someone who like to throw the pigskin around, as they say, is any of that accurate? I just can't fathom that being a thing. But, maybe it's in like every coming of age teen story, animated or not, where the football kids are bullies and or they're like, this is just the best days of our lives, so we got to live it to the fullest. And that means bullying the funky kid with the white stripe in his hair.
I like to think that with 7 billion people on this planet,
yeah,
every stereotype matches at least one living person.
Sure.
Yeah.
But is it everybody or enough people? I don't know.
Not.
But jocks or whatever the more appropriate term is, athletes, football athletes, please email us and let us know.
And I want to know if other people love this theme song as much as me.
The theme song for me was just illuminating, because the other thing that felt very classic late 90s, early 2000s storytelling is we got right into the action. So we don't see the lab accident that leads to him turning into a ghost and this portal opening. We just learn about it through the theme song.
Mm-hmm.
And so while I'm listening to the theme song and reading about the show, I was like, uh-oh, I'm fairly certain this is all the lore I get. This like minute of really fun and great music.
Yeah, they caught you up, got you up to speed in that opening with some great music. And I remember, I don't know what episode or season, but it was like an event that Nickelodeon announced when an episode was going to come out that showed the lab accident.
Ooh, that's going to be fun to build up to, not to give away my rating this early, but I look forward to that.
But in the meantime, he's already a hero. As we mentioned, still learning how to use his powers, but we don't have to stop and question everything. Danny, Sam, Tucker, they all know he can do this. He can fly. He can go invisible, and he will fight ghosts.
We know the parents are kind of incompetent, but also unintentionally very competent. We're understanding the stakes of the school and the ghost hunting and even the dynamics of their relationships. There's something about good storytelling in a tight, under 25 minutes that scratches a very specific part of my brain. Like, that is so satisfying.
Writers who can fit everything into a half hour, 24 minutes, actually.
Yeah.
That is talent.
We're getting story, lore, background, bit of development.
And humor.
And we understand the dynamics between these people, and we're laughing, and there are really good stakes action scenes. There's a couple great action sequences. And I even love that we got the beginnings of a catchphrase where he goes, "I'm going ghost."
That's true. He had to come up with that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All in this pilot.
Shout out to that. One of my biggest laughs was, one, Tucker relying on the strength of his nose. That made me laugh very hard because I ultimately think that is maybe the skill I could bring to something like, oh, that doesn't smell right. I think it's coming from over there. Now, am I following you to it? Am I helping you to it? That's sort of where Tucker and I diverge in how to execute on that. But I could certainly point much like an animal would.
Okay.
And then I love when I love the action scene where Sam gets stuck in a big pile of meat, which is a very strange way to phrase it, but it just is what that was.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny's like, you help Sam get out and I'll do this. So they cut to Danny doing some really cool action stuff and there's high energy music, and then they cut back to Tucker and he has just a fork and knife and he's gonna eat Sam out of it. And that made me laugh so hard. Like he was just gonna bite by bite remove this meat from her, trapping her. And then I love the gag of him tricking Danny into thinking he had slept for much longer than he had after expending so much energy with his powers. That truly made me cackle. Shout out to Tucker and his voice actor. Fantastic delivery.
Okay, now this is revealing a lot about you and your personality.
Okay.
Tucker's a little bit of a troublemaker.
Huh.
I don't actually think you and Tucker would have hung out in high school.
I can assure you we wouldn't have.
But it's interesting that you like to just watch and laugh at his actions.
I can think of someone else who likes to tune into the action and have a giggle as well.
I don't know who you're referring to.
That's interesting.
So let's get into our ratings for Danny Phantom, originally on Nickelodeon and now on Paramount Plus.
I will watch again casually. This was so fun. I'm very sorry to Danny Phantom Hive. I don't know how this missed me the first time or I watched it and I didn't retain it, but it's my gain now because that was such a fun pilot episode and I look forward to more episodes. And if you're animated show hive, if you're feeling nostalgic for Danny Phantom, if this is something that you watched when you were younger, I feel confident saying it held up even without the knowledge of what we're holding up from 20 years ago. It was really fun.
It has been 20 years. Oh.
Over.
Okay, you didn't have to emphasize 21.
Sorry.
I will also watch again casually. I remember liking it, and I guess I never had a real push to rewatch it. And thank you to our listeners who recommended it. Now's the time for me to go back to it and enjoy it a second time.
Thanks, y'all.
So, you have been turned into a human ghost superhero hybrid.
Yeah.
What is your name?
Boo.
You got me with that one.
I'm so sorry. It's literally the first thing that came to mind. I think that's what they named that little girl on Monsters, Inc., actually.
Yep. I'm not laughing at your name. I'm laughing at the delivery because you surprised me.
I surprised myself. It's the only thing that popped into my brain.
It's ghost themed.
Yeah, let's go with that. Boo. Because then it could be affectionate. Hey, boo.
Or boo.
Yeah. Depending on who I need to be.
Okay. Well, if you want to find out other things about us and our opinions on shows, head to our website at thepilotpodcast.com and you can follow us on all of your favorite podcast platforms.
You can also follow us on social media at The Pilot Pod, and you can send thoughts, feelings, show recommendations, because every other week we do a show recommended by you, our wonderful listeners, to askthepilotpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
Bye.